Good morning. I'm Rabbi Joshua Stanton. It is a privilege to be here with so many supporters of Ravi Ragbir. We are here fighting for justice, fighting for the rights of immigrants across our city, and we're here because we are moved by our faith traditions, by our ethical frameworks, and by a love for a person who has become a true leader in so many ways in our city. It's my privilege to invite the two chairs of the New Sanctuary Coalition, Donna Scopper and Kaji Docha, to kindly share some words of wisdom and inspiration to us as the pastors that they so fully are.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Josh, and I'll just switch places here. I'm here representing the caucus of the angry black women. I am here as co-chair of New Sanctuary Coalition, along with Reverend Stephen Phelps, to represent this movement that will not stop, can't be stopped, that will melt the ice on this cold day with the warmth of the righteousness that we bring to this space. We are sick and tired of this administration targeting our immigrants and our immigrant activists, trying to make them scared, but we are here to say we are not afraid. We will not stop. And we are on the side of the righteous. We have the moral dignity here. And so we are calling on the people behind us to hear our anger, see our truth, and know that they have a choice. And so I speak directly to ICE as I call on them to exercise their discretion, to remember that Ravi Ragbir is our leader and that the people need him. He poses zero threat to anyone. Every court has said this. He has stays of deportation. There is no reason he needs to be here today. So we expect that he will walk out of this building free of shackles. Yes. And free to continue to lead us on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. People, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear. Though the earth moves under our feet, though our government loses its mind and its heart and hurts people, not just Ravi, but all the people who've been delayed. And all I want to say is we're not afraid. We'll come back, and God is our refuge and our strength, and has never left Ravi's side for 1 minute and never will. Amen.
Amen. It's my privilege to welcome John Washington from No More Death.
Morning.
Morning.
So, a story that a lot of you already know part of. About 20 years ago, the leaders of the first sanctuary movement started noticing that more and more border crossers were dying as they were crossing the U.S.-Mexico border in Arizona. And those deaths, we know, were part of a Border Patrol policy. We understand that. And soon, the number of deaths soared into the hundreds, and that's a trend that continues today. Over the last 2 decades, thousands of people have died in the U.S.-Mexico borderlands, and thousands more have gone missing and are disappeared forever. So the leaders of that first sanctuary movement started No More Deaths, the organization which, as the name suggests, is founded to stop death and suffering in the desert. I've been a part of No More Deaths for more than 10 years, and it goes beyond just policy. We know that Border Patrol agents are harassing, beating, dangerously chasing people in the desert. we documented through video evidence Border Patrol agents dumping out water bottles, stabbing water bottles on trails where people were dying of thirst. I spoke with a Border Patrol agent who witnessed a senior officer, a field training officer, kick a water bottle in the hands of a 4-year-old boy who had been lost for days with his parents in the desert. To combat that brutality there, we organized. And we started more strategically leaving water and food out in the desert. We started documenting those abuses. We worked with people who were deported to Mexico. And because of that work, we were targeted, we were harassed, we were sometimes ticketed and charged with crimes. Recently, that harassment has gotten worse. In the last 2 years, it's gotten worse. And recently, 4 of our volunteers, Natalie Hoffman, Una Holcomb, Madeline Hughes, and Zachila Orozco McCormick, just a couple weeks ago, were charged and convicted of littering for leaving water out on a particularly brutal stretch of western Arizona deserts. Another one of our volunteers, Scott Warren, for allegedly harboring migrants, faces up to 20 years in prison right now. So the urgent need for humanitarian assistance in Arizona also exists here in New York. The wilderness that I saw in Arizona exists here. The wilderness of the immigration regime and the brutality of the immigration courts in New York and across the country exists here. And Ravi has been guiding people through that wilderness. And he has been targeted for it in attempts to silence them. And we can't let that happen. So the same spirit of solidarity that I witnessed and many other people here have probably witnessed in Arizona, that same radical hospitality exists here in New York. And I see it on Tuesday nights at the New Sanctuary Coalition's Asylum Clinic. Every Tuesday night you see that. And what is happening here is not isolated. What is happening to Ravi is not isolated. It's connected to the humanitarian aid volunteers in Arizona who are being targeted, and it's part of the larger racist, xenophobic, nationwide anti-immigrant campaign. So we need to take a stand here tonight. We need to take this morning. We need to take a loud stand for Ravi, for the other volunteers in Arizona, for Scott Warren, and we need to not let them sneak anyone away quietly. We need to take a stand not only for them, but for who they are helping, for our neighbors and friends and loved ones and family who are being rounded up and detained and deported. Thank you.
So for those of you who speak Hebrew might know, Ravi means my teacher, my rabbi. And in a very real way, Ravi Ragbir has become a teacher, something like a rabbi to us all. He's taught us about injustice. He's taught us how to combat injustice. And because of his sacred work and leadership, he's now being targeted. So please join me in standing with Ravi. Please put your hands together for our teacher, our guide in this sacred work, Ravi Ragbir.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, everyone. Normally I can say a lot. You all know that I have no problem with words. But today is hard. And it is not hard because I have to go in, but it is hard because of what happened last year. It is hard because I am still suffering with that anxiety, that PTSD that you all felt. I was in a van, being taken away, but you could see the pain, you can hear what was happening, you could feel what was going on outside that van. And that permeated through that van, and it affected me. You know, I did not think about PTSD until I was on the train this morning. I'm saying, why I couldn't get any sleep? It is because of the PTSD. And this is what they want to do. They want to break our spirit. They want to destroy our humanity. They want us to give up because by threatening and intimidating us. You know, how could you sleep? How could you live with yourself when you are trying to take away water from people who are dying of thirst? We are taking away water from people who are dying of thirst. That is inhumane. We are all standing here with people of faith. Pastors, rabbis, imams, people of faith. And we all know that in our book, life is sacred. We should not think about life as a way to stop people from moving, from migrating, because migration is a natural process. I'm sorry. Yeah, let's not talk about that. Migration is a natural process, people. And yet we are criminalizing that. Yet we want to destroy people who are just trying to find safety and security. And finding a place for them to rest their heads, not only for themselves, but more importantly for their kids who are walking with them. I don't know how many of us here can say that I can take my child with me, my 4-year-old child, and walk 2,000 miles into the unknown and not know what is going to happen. And all you hear that even the sanctuary that we are seeking in the U.S. is turning people away, but it's better than where I'm coming from. Why are we inhumane? Why are we losing the humanity and the moral high ground that we said that we can stand on? We are not. We have our faith leaders here. We have our elected officials here. We are standing here together. Everyone here are standing together to say that this immigration policy has to end. We have to abolish ICE. We have to end this inhumane administration that is seeking to destroy each and our lives and our community that has built New York City. That has built New York City, right? 60% of the New York City is immigrant based. That is the city itself. And everyone wants to come here. Even the president doesn't want to leave here. He wants to stay in New York. Yet we are targeting those people who built us. And we need to stop that. So I am going into Federal Plaza. And we know why they want me to come in. I have 2 stays. I have a stay from the District Court in New Jersey. I have a stay from this 2nd Circuit. Why are they having me check in? And remember, I have not talked about the criminal conviction that I have. I have a criminal conviction, but no one should be deported because of a criminal conviction. That is not the basis of any deportation. There is no basis for deportation. Because immigration is based upon racism. And if a law is based on racism, we need to change that law. We need to end that law. So there's nothing here that they can say to justify anyone being deported. A document does not make my humanity. The work authorization, the green card, does not determine my humanity. I am human because of who I am. I am human because of you. I am human because we are all humans. So thank you. And I thank you for standing with me. I thank you for breaking this wall of injustice that is standing behind us. That this is going to end. And there will be no walls that are going to be built, whether it's in New York City, on the south border, or anywhere. Because we have to destroy this so that we can all live in dignity. Thank you for being there.
Listen, I'll keep it short. This is about racism and bigotry. If you cannot call it out, you are part of the problem. What we see with this immigration that they're trying to do on the border wall, everything that this orange man and the people who support him want to do is about racism and bigotry. If you don't believe me, you can look at what's happening in Puerto Rico, who are American citizens, how we try to treat them. The darker your skin, the more they want to push you down and keep you out. But we are fighting back in privilege. the history books are going to look back at Ravi Ragbir and everybody here and say, thank you for knocking down the walls of privilege. Thank you for pushing back on racism and bigotry. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Peace.
This is about racism and hatred. And this administration perpetuates it each and every day. So I stand united with all of you as we not only build the walls of love against this hate, but also to continue to put forward policies in this city and in this state that will really uphold the values that we believe in. To Ravi, to Amy, to everyone that is standing here, we love you and we thank you for the sacrifice that you have given to us as a community and to us as a country. Thank you.
119 years ago, the New York City population was 96% white, 2% of American, Latino, we were not counted. Today, New York City population is 29% Latino, 27% of American, almost 15% Asian. We are the majority. And working with the rest of the brothers and sisters in the Jewish, in the Anglo community, we will build a city for all. Como inmigrante que soy, con mi acento fuerte, hoy me digo aquí, estoy aquí presente para decirle a la ciudad de Nueva York, no one will take this nation backward. We will continue forward. We are a nation built and for immigrants, and we will stand for Ravi today as we stand for all undocumented brothers and sisters that contribute with billions of dollars to this economy.
It is my privilege to invite Vita Mustafi from the Mayor's Office, the Commissioner in the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs. We are so grateful for your presence.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. You know, they've said that this deportation effort is about public safety. They've said that over and over again. The facts show us something totally different. The facts show us over and over again that this is a systematic effort that's based on racism, xenophobia, and the separation of our families. We've seen in the Trump administration an 88% increase in arrests right here in New York City of people who have no criminal history whatsoever, so directly counter to what they're saying in every way possible. Over 400% increase in arrests.
The plan is that whoever can stick it out, we're going to keep walking around until Ravi comes out. Yeah. But just to get our blood moving and do something different than walking for a second, we want to sing together. is in with the officer right now. So we're going to turn toward this building, put one hand up, and on the count of 3, let out the largest scream we have ever screamed. 1, 2, 3.
Woke up this morning with my mind set on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind, and it was set on freedom. Oh, woke up this morning with my mind, and it was set on freedom. Ravi, Ravi.
So I would like the Congresswoman to speak first because she has been a godsend in this process. But I would like her to address you about what she saw and what has happened in 26 Florida Plaza.
Just give a round of applause for the Congresswoman.
That's right.
Let me first of all thank all of you. Thank my colleagues in government who are here, and to all of our clergy. It is a team effort to bring justice to Ravi Ragbir. It is critical at this stage that we give oversight to the Department of Homeland Security. It is very clear to me that the free flow of the public has been obstructed arbitrarily and unilaterally to create a pressurized environment in which human rights could be violated. As Providence would have it, just last week I was assigned to the Committee on Homeland Security in the House of Representatives. I will be returning to Washington, D.C. today. And on the top of my agenda, we'll be speaking with Chairman Benny Thompson. About the policies, practices, and procedures. As it in respect to removals. In respect to due process. And public accommodation. For those who have to utilize. The services of the Department of Homeland Security. I was proud to be by Ravi's side today. Along with his very able legal team. My colleagues. And all of you as supporters. Nothing was guaranteed for Ravi today. Let us not take this as a signal that the struggle is over. He has been asked to return here within the next 6 months. We will be investigating that as well. And we'll report back to the beloved community. On the changes that must take place. To bring dignity to all of us. I want to thank you, Amy, and the family. Stand shoulder to shoulder in the movement. For justice. For human dignity. I'm running now.